Freedom! Well, that didn't work. Freedom! Good morning, welcome back to Castle Rock Farm and Homestead. You can see our feathered friends behind us there today. We are going to be giving them a little more freedom, so we're going to get them out finally into a little bit of the pasture there in the poultry netting. We've had, I don't even know where they went, can't see them right now, sorry, it's a little sunny out here, I'm squinting. There they are, the guineas are back in there next to the little coop. We've had our lonely chicken and our guineas in here for about a week or so, so they're kind of getting used to it. They haven't even slept in the coop with the other chickens though. They like sleep outside every night because they're used to the chicken tractor. Whatever. I don't know if guineas would even go into the coop or not. And the lonely chicken, he just hangs out with them because he thinks he's one of them. But they've kind of all gotten used to each other. There hasn't really been any fighting or anything. They kind of hang out on their own in each little flock. They'll integrate when they're eating and stuff like that. So what we're going to do is we're going to open up our gate that we installed. Oh, there it is. Another week ago or so, and let them out into the pasture. So let's get on that. We got a different energizer for the net we'll go over, and a couple other little things we'll be doing today too to increase some freedom for our feathered friends and limit the freedom for some of our furry friends. So we'll try to give you a little view of the energizer we're going to be using for the net. You've seen the Gallagher one I've had when I installed it, when we moved the goats initially out into the pasture and the netting. That's an expensive unit. That was over 400 bucks. I mean, it's brand name, it's the top of the line. The goats and the sheep are a little bit more expensive animals than the chickens. So I wanted to make sure I went high end there and just made sure I didn't have to worry about it. When I decided to start running the chickens out here, I didn't want to spend another $400 some on an energizer. So I went to good old Amazon and found this version. I don't know what the name is. If you really want to know, leave me a comment and I can look it up. Don't have affiliate links or anything like that. But found this one online. It was like 170, so significantly cheaper. It's supposed to be 1 joule or 1.2 joules, I believe, so just as powerful as the Gallagher, but not nearly as expensive, so we'll see how well it holds up. You can see this one can be wired for the open loop like we have, or a closed loop circuit. That's why it has 2 power leads. You can do a closed loop, and this came with a little indicator whether or not there's a break in the loop or not. That's why it has the 2 power leads. We'll hook them up in a certain way in a minute. And then you got your ground. This one is nice. It's got a little port there. It came with a little adapter, AC adapter, where you can actually plug this one into the wall to charge it or to keep it running. Then you can plug in your little solar panel here. You can see it just bolts to the handle. And then the batteries in here. Got a little thing to slide onto a T-post. Slides on the wide end of the post. I don't know how well that's going to hold up. It does seem a little thin. I mean, it does slide on there and hold. The leads that came with it, unfortunately, are pretty short. So even though I have this T-post right here, it's not close enough to where I have the net. So I'm going to have to put in another little post. Because it says not to put it on the ground. I think it can kind of ground out and drain the battery a bit. That's debatable whether or not, but that's what it says right here. So I'm not going to do that, and I'll put another post in. Then it came with these. Actually, it came with a bunch of leads like this. They are a little bit longer. They just got these tiny little alligator clips. So I went and bought these generic, got these off Amazon, generic big alligator clips, but they're like 3 foot long where I need something more like 5 foot. So like I said, I'm just gonna put another post in and move it a little closer. You can get longer leads. These were super cheap, so I'm gonna make do with what I got. So this is the main Energizer lead. This is the little one for the indicator thing. You just clip them both on the hot. Then you obviously clip the green on your ground. So let's get this thing hooked up. It does have a little couple indicator lights. It's got its battery indicator. If that's green, your battery's good. The pulse will pulse green if it is not grounding out, red if it's getting a ground where it shouldn't. Grass has gotten a little long. It's really damp this morning, so there's our guineas making their presence known. So it might be grounding out a little bit this morning. As the day goes long and dries out, it should be all right. And then it has 2 settings. It's got its fast setting and slow setting. So slow setting, the pulse is about once a second, once every 2 seconds, something like that. The faster one's a little bit more of a click, 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 click. We're gonna use the slow one just because it's not really for the chickens. It's more to keep things out of the chickens. So we'll put it on the slow one. Let's get that steak pounded in, get this hooked up. We'll see how it goes, and then we'll turn them loose. All right, so let's get this post in. You can see it's not a regular cheap post, it's a skinny one, cheap one. But all it's got to do is hold that thing up. It should slide into that notch just fine. I'm not sure if you guys can hear our guineas making their presence known, but that's what they're doing. Let's drive this in real quick. Yeah, it fits on there just fine. So we got our leads. Got our ground. I put these little clamps on here, just make it a little something easier for those alligator clips to clip to. I think these are nice big ones because they get a good ground and they're really easy to pull out. And of course, the ground clamp isn't long enough. See if I got another one. And I found a longer ground one. This is one I've repaired from the Gallagher one. The original ones I've had to replace both. Just a tip, if you are using these for especially goats, make sure your leads are where they cannot reach to the fence, nowhere where they can reach them. They will chew on them. I had to replace both the ground and the hot. One of them must have figured out the hard way that the hot one was hot, but they had chewed through the insulation on both. Pretty much almost chewed all the way through this ground one, so I had to cut it and redo it. I'm going to pick up another nice set of longer ones today while I'm out. I got to get a couple more of these ground rods for later on in our video here to see what we're going to do with our furry friends. But yeah, this one's way too short. This is a couple foot longer, so it should work. It's repaired. It should be just fine. It's pretty easy to switch. You just undo these little finger screws. I mean, for a cheap unit, it's pretty intuitive, pretty simple to use. So we'll see how well it holds up and how much of a kick it puts out. Yeah, so this one's like 2 foot longer. So now I'm going to run the insulated parts through the fence to our lead, just because if we run the lead through, it's going to ground out on the main fence and electrify that and not give as much hit to the netting. Let's go through here. So I put the main clip on there, get this little secondary cheap one, I just clip it on the lead as well. So it's all set up. It's good to go. Got it grounded out. Got the hot attached. Flip it on. Getting a green battery, like I said, a red pulse. Like I said, it's wet, grass is long, it's going to be grounding out. We'll see how it does later today. If I have to go and mow around it a little bit, maybe we will. I'll go grab the tester, we'll test it, see if it's even hitting or not. All right, so got our tester here. I had a cheap one that just lit up according to how many 1,000 volts I thought it was hitting. This one gives you a digital readout. It's just a little bit easier. And the other one is a little finicky how you touched it. This one just works a little bit better, so it's worth the money getting a better, higher end tester. I don't have the Gallagher hooked up because I do have the sheep and goats deflured into a permanent paddock, grazing it down, so I don't need the netting right now. But last time I tested it, it was hitting about a 5,000 volts. The regular cattle fence is hitting like 6.5 right now, so 6,500 volts. I've seen it up closer to 8 and 9 when it's dry, so that thing is pretty powerful. Test this on the netting, then we'll test it right on the alligator clip here. We're getting about a 2, 2.1. It is very wet. Grass is very wet. It's a little long along this, so I have seen the Gallagher even hit at a 7 when it's super dry. So this is hitting, like I said, 2 with all the grounding out. That's not terrible. As it dries out today, it should be a little bit better. The long grass, it's not going to be perfect. Trying to get a good way to test this right on the alligator clip here and see if it's any different. So ground it out down here and kind of reach through the fence here. Yeah, I'm getting a 2.2 right on the clip. So a little hotter right on the clip. We'll see how it does the rest of the day. We've got some more things to do. We'll come back and check it out later as things dry out. All right, nothing really special going on here. We're just going to let them out, open this up. They're all kind of hiding in the shade right now, so who knows if they even come out now, but we'll see what happens. If I can unhook this, it's snagged on something. Ready? Freedom! Well, that didn't work. Freedom! And I'm going to grab a stake to stake this down so it's not swinging back and touching the hot wire and energizing itself there. See, the cats can get in here, but I don't think they pose any harm to these guys. Just grabbed a couple stakes. I'll put one on each side of this and keep it open. Hope it's not touching right now. All good. There's probably a real solution for this, but this works well enough. Then at some point now I can get in here with the tractor and the bucket and scoop out all this good compost and put some fresh wood chips in here. But that'll be for a different day. Right now I just want to see how they do while they're out here and get used to the little bit of freedom that they got now. See if we lose any or not. All right, back out here this afternoon. Looks like it's still flashing red on the fence pulse, but let's test to see where it's at. my idea is to eventually run the chickens behind the flurd. So I'm not going to be wanting to mow it like every time because the fence will already be set up. So we'll see how this works. Let me see what it's reading. Yeah, now that it's dried out, it's at 3.5. So that's still, I mean, you'll feel it. So we're going to see how that does. If for some reason that ain't working, we'll have to figure something else out. But it's because it's still grounding out. So you can see behind me, the grass is getting fairly long around it. It's been a while since the flurd's been in here, but I just left the fence up so I could get the chickens out eventually. So we'll see how it goes. Maybe when we move them, we'll test it again and see how it's going. Right now, I actually need to turn this off. We're going to go do our other project today that we had to go run and get some stuff for. Maybe see the boys there in the background. We're going to go deal with them here real quick. Before I head out there, you can see the chickens are venturing a little farther out there. Got another one heading out. A lot of them have been hanging out up here, but it has been shadier up by the house today, so they've been chilling in the shade. Yeah, they don't seem to bother the cats. Cats don't seem to bother them yet. They're still smaller than the chickens, so we'll see how that goes. But yeah, they're using it. They're enjoying their freedom. We'll see how that goes tonight. So you can see our problem, well, until I point it out to you. Problem with these guys is we got to limit their freedom. You can see their water bucket flipped over there because the tractor was back in this section. Especially Peabody likes to get underneath it and try to eat the grass because it's always greener on the other side. And then they end up pushing it. Things completely flipped around. Their covering was in this corner. So yeah, they've spun the whole thing around. So we're going to fix that. Thought we had a decent solution for it, and it worked for a while, but now that these two are getting quite a bit bigger, it's just not working so well. Now we're going to get these guys back in place and get them some water. And then we'll go ahead and show you what our issue is. Well, you'll kind of see it here as I try to pull them up. We have pins holding this in place, but they just bend them. Trying to bend it back here so I can actually get it out. So we had this piece of metal stake. You can see how straight that is anymore. On the other side, I just had one of my regular electric fence posts. It's just a hair thinner than this. Had it through there, and obviously it bends easier than that. Yeah, I had this bent back straight this morning. You can see how well that went. Let's get them back in place. I'll show you the solution. Since they've been grazing where they're not supposed to be today, there's still plenty for them to graze where I wanted them to spend the day. So we're just going to put them back in place. We'll spend the night there, and then we'll move them again in the morning. Been trying to move them once in the morning and once in the evening. So 12 hours-ish on a spot. Try to make it pretty simple. Give them fresh water every night. Put it in this corner. So in the morning, I just push everything that way. Don't have to refill the water because it's still in there, and then I just can change it at night. So like I said earlier, I had to go grab a couple more of these grounding stakes. So what we have here is each side. I put on both sides. The other tractor only needed on one with the girls because they just don't push it around so much. But had this and that other fence post, set them down through this half-inch pipe, and then it would slide them into the ground. You can see these grounding stakes are significantly thicker. So I got two of these. They're only like $9, so it wasn't that big a deal. Luckily, they're still small enough to fit in there. They're right about half an inch, maybe 3/8. But I'm going to put one of these through the pipes on each side. Still got my T-handle, so it's easier to grab them out of the ground. And hopefully they won't bend these. So I'll leave you with these sights of chickens enjoying their freedom today and the joyous sounds of guinea fowl. So if you do get chickens in town, don't get guineas. They're worse than roosters by far. But yeah, that was it. Not a lot going on today. Pretty simple video. Spent more time running to the store than doing stuff. But something needed to get done. Get these guys out, get them some greens, get them some bugs. That way now I can get into their pen and get that good compost out of there that I showed you before. Then hopefully we got the voids secured so they're not spinning that around, running out of water during the middle of the day, pushing it into the electric fence and electrifying the whole um, tractor because it makes it a pain to move and it makes it a pain for them literally because they try to touch it. So hopefully got all that resolved. Join us next time. We'll see how things are going. Thanks for joining us again on Castle Rock Farm and Homestead.